Welcome to Technofile, our regular look at the latest news from the world of science and technology. Coming up tonight, lights out, why turning off the switch on the Eiffel Tower may help to save the planet. But first, making videos is pretty easy these days. Good quality cameras and camcorders are available at ever lower prices. But I wonder, what about an entire television studio? Now, this is the Sky News control room. Mike is directing, he's just scratching his head, look, trying to worry what's happening next. Alison is operating the vision mixer in the centre of the frame, there's Alison. And that control panel there, you can see how big it is. Hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of kit in there and in the control room and the back office side of it as well. Compare that to this here. Now that's the control screen which we've got of this new device, because it's actually just a little computer, and I'm trying to show you this little device here. Have a look at the front panel. A shuttle form PC, just a standard Windows-driven PC with some bespoke little connectivity here, which is an entire television studio in a box. Those connections will allow you to connect 3 cameras and all the other bits of television program content that you might otherwise need. Let's go back to the screenshot show, and I'll show you exactly around the actual control surface you're given here. The cameras are available. And rather like the control desk that Alison is using to actually broadcast our programme, I got a miniature version here. The cameras 1, 2 and 3, and look, there's camera 1, that's me. Camera 2 and 3 we haven't plugged in today. This thing also does a neat trick whereby you could put another computer into it, so it'll take a VGA screen from a laptop or something if you're in the middle of doing a presentation. VCR I'll show you in a minute, because our little news wrap in Technofile will try and run from this machine. That's a little digital video recorder, and those are some AVI clips which you've arranged down there. It's got editing software all in it as well. Then you can do little pictures as well, JPEG files. Black is standard for television because, of course, when, let's just select black just for a moment, when all else fails, you just, fade out to absolutely nothing. And as you can see, it does some pretty cutesy little wipes and things like that as television. We, of course, wouldn't do anything like that as vulgar as that on Sky News, would we? Because we can now show you exactly what it was. Should we just go to one of the colour backgrounds then? All right, there we go. And we can do one of these sort of hideous things like, woo! OK. Right, so that's all it does. The point about this little machine, though, it is just a computer, about £3,500 worth. And I caught up with Philip from Newtek the other day and asked him, who's it aimed at?
We're selling a lot into the education market, but we're also seeing the internet television revolution. And YouTube, very popular. It's a way for an individual to reach all of their friends and people that might have similar interests. And Tricaster is going to allow that to become live, because YouTube is edited, it's pre-edited segments, but Tricaster will allow anyone to produce a live internet television show.
Yes, this is already being used, by some sports broadcasters in the United States, particularly radio stations, ESPN Sports and so on. They've put their radio programme on the telly, on the web. How do they do that? Well, this same black box we were showing you a little bit earlier not only produces the video picture that we were showing you right now, it also will stream live to the internet. Getting, of course, the bandwidth to do that is another bill which your accountant will have to sort out, but it certainly all can be done from this little box. I wondered, as I spoke to Phil, whether that was really a worry of putting TV professionals like him and me out of business.
What we want to do with Tricaster is not put people out of business or unemploy people. We want to allow more live television to be produced. So instead of doing 1 live show, we can do 4 live shows for the same budget, so those people can do their own live show.
Just to say, that was Philip, who we spoke to a little bit earlier on, and these units are available for a cost relatively small of only about £3,500. They also do some editing software as well, which they claim has made it really easy to use. And let me just show you this little gadget, which allows you to use all the interface that you might normally do for a vision mixer in terms of bespoke buttons. You can actually use them on the computer keyboard as well if you wish, but the computer panel and that traditional way of mixing from one television picture to another, the paddle there is also available on that little panel. Now, you've been seeing shots of Claire Newsom, who's my guest, and I haven't introduced you yet. We'll talk gadgets in a minute, but Claire, it's quite fun this though, isn't it?
That looks fantastic.
Right, I've now got the most nerve-wracking moment, because I am going to try and do the news, right, on this machine. So first of all, I have to find out where we've got the scripts up on the prompter, please. That would help. The actual news wrap we're going to do. which we're going to start with some pictures in Paris. So I wonder, I've got myself up on, it's camera 8, isn't it? I think there we are, right? And if I now press that button, and I hope everything is ready over there, I can say it was lights out at the Eiffel Tower this evening as the French tried to highlight the dangers of global warming. Across the country, environmentalists were urging people to turn their lights off for 5 minutes. The action was timed to highlight a United Nations report on global warming released tomorrow in Paris. Mixed back to me. Isn't that tasteless? Yes, the latest version of Microsoft Windows may have only been on sale for 2 days, but already flaws in Vista are being found. The computer giant says problems in the voice recognition system means files could delete themselves, but says the real risk to users is minimal. I'm just going to select a different kind of wipe, I think, to go back to me. And then Sony has announced how many PlayStation 3 consoles will be available to UK computer fans. 220,000 units will hit the shelves when it launches on March the 23rd. The company also defended the cost of the PS3. It's going to cost you 425 quid, you know. It priced in the US is just under $600. That works out at roughly £300. Cheesy wipe back to me. There we are. OK. Enough playing with the Newtek machine. Let's put that to one side. Claire, good to see you.
Thanks.
Do you want one?
Oh, yeah.
Endless fun to be had.
Absolutely.
Anyway, you've got some other things for us to see as well.